Broadway is back, the West End is back. But can you just explain to me quite what an impact the past 18 months has had? Because we've never experienced anything like this, not even during, Bonnie, the World Wars.
Well, just on Broadway alone, there was 100,000 workers that were out of work overnight. And we all thought that we were going to be back to work in 2 weeks. With the threat of a deadly virus hanging over everyone, we saw so many losses in our industry. So it was devastating. And still people are displaced. We're getting them back slowly into the theaters. And, it's the world that we're going to be living in going forward. It's going to be a whole new Broadway going forward.
And Bonnie, one thing that seems to have changed significantly is this idea that Broadway will be taken to the masses around the world via streaming. And obviously, I know in your day job, your company, Broadway HD, is very, very much behind this phenomenon. What do you make of it, though? Because is it a good thing that folk can see Hamilton on Disney Plus and Come From Away on Apple Plus and the very controversial Diana musical on Netflix? Is that a good thing? Or actually, does it just stop people going to the theatre?
No, I think, that kind of content is called digital capture or live capture, where it's done in the theater. It's capturing the show that's on the stage, usually in front of a live audience. That wasn't the case for the Diana musical. But the other ones had the audience there. And when those are done right, it makes you want to go to the theater. It makes you feel like you missed something by not being in that theater. And that's the whole purpose of our aggregating all this similar content into one place on Broadway HD, is to expand the fan base for theater. In the US, we just don't have a theater-going culture. We have 350 million people that pre-pandemic, 75% of them would go and see a movie in the movie theaters, but only 15% of those 350 million would go and see a live theater event. So the potential to just grab these other audience members is huge. There's millions of them out there, and that's just in the US. So if they can see Diana, if they can see Hamilton, if they can see Come From Away in digital form, and then that propels them to go buy the tickets, that's a win-win. And it's not just those particular shows that you mentioned. Broadway HD, we have over 350 of these full-length stage plays and musicals that show, the audience, the playbills, people reading their program, the reactions of the audience. And those things just really do open up an art form that wasn't available to everybody before. No. And in a new way, we're just bringing it around the world.
Now, tell me about Six, Bonnie, because obviously this is a show that Brits are very, very proud of. It's a really fascinating concept, isn't it? The Six Wives of Henry VIII form an almost Little Mix, Spice Girls style girl band. It's such a brilliant show that took Britain by storm. And it's now taking Broadway by storm too? Is it the new Hamilton?
I think it is the new Hamilton, and it's the female-forward show that we've been looking for. There's so many female creatives associated with the show. It's an all-girl band. It's all women on stage. It's just the show that we needed. It's funny that, that it was created pre-pandemic, because it's an hour and a half with no intermission. It's, that part of the, answer to the Me Too, where's the women's story in here. So it's magnificent. It's just really, this is the time for this show. And I think it's going to set the way for a lot of other shows for the creatives on stage and off to be female forward.
I think you're completely right. I have to ask, though, about two of your shows, Bonnie, though, which I believe are heading to the West End, which is very exciting. Little Woman, the musical? Is that right?
Yeah. Yes,
oh, my goodness.
Yep, Little Women, the musical. It was on Broadway with Sutton Foster, and it's being revived in the UK. So we're going to do that off West End and then hopefully bring it in. And that was one. And the other is The Rise and Fall of Little Voice, which was also a Broadway show and West End show. And we're going to tour that first. And with Katie Lipson and Aria Entertainment, we're looking at bringing those into the West End next year. So, again, female forward shows.
Look, I'm going to bring in our superstar panel now, Bonnie. Tonight, we're joined by the political commentator Dominique Samuels, the host of Free Speech Nation, Andrew Doyle, and the author and broadcaster Amy Nicole. Amy, you're a big musical fan, aren't you?
I am. I am a musical theatre child, so I went to stage school. I loved it. But the thing that really interests me in what you say, Bonnie, is first of all, amazing work that you've done. It's like six, brilliant musical. But I read that you have commented quite a lot on having unvaxxed actors working in the shows. And that they just won't work unless they're vaccinated. So do you think that vaccination is the key to getting theatre revived and back how we want it?
Well, I don't know if I've said it a lot, but I, have representing, we on Broadway have 13 different unions. And as I mentioned, there was 100,000 workers in March of 2020. In order to get all of those people back, in order to get all of those unions to agree, what they agreed on is that they want all of the actors to be vaccinated, all of the stage crew to be vaccinated, everyone in the audience to be vaccinated, and everyone in the audience to be masked. So I think if that's what the general consensus is for this industry, then everyone needs to appreciate that or just hold back and say, okay, I'm not going to, if I have to get a vaccination, I'm going to hold back on working at this time because I don't like those rules. So I think that, that's it is, you're not alone. Theater is a collaborative medium, and you have to go with what the industry is requiring. And I think, to get 13 unions to agree on that, and in such a short period of time, I do believe that there's, they're being advised in the best way possible.
OK. Andrew Doyle, do you want to come in?
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that a lot of big Hollywood blockbusters end up as musicals. A Ghost happened, of course, recently. I've just seen that Back to the Future, the musical, is now on.
The Pretty Woman musical is so good.
I once saw a fringe production of Silence of the Lambs, the musical. So, it can happen to any film. What do you prefer when you're looking for a musical? Do you prefer these kind of adaptations or adaptations of great novels, or do you like this idea? Because there doesn't appear to be many musicals that are just purely new, completely new.
I guess
story.
Six is a new one.
Yeah.
Six is, but it's based off of history and people that we, the stories that we thought that we knew to the point of the show. It's familiarity. I think that, that's why we find, the Hugh Jackmans always sell out. The Al Pacinos always sell out on Broadway because it's a high ticket price and we're looking for things that we're familiar with, which is where the digital capture comes in, because it is a way to try before you buy, if you will. You can buy a digital capture, you can stream, for Broadway HD, it's $10 a month, basically, for all, access to all these shows versus the $125 for one ticket. So if you have reservations about anything, then, you can try before you buy. But I think that, and it's, what's your mood? Do I want classic literature seen on stage? Do I want a play or a musical? I mean, it kind of all depends on what my mood is. But my mood at this moment is, I'm seeing, is Six. Again, I think it's just joyous. It's just celebratory. It's just the thing that we need right now. So I think that people are looking for the musicals that are going to take them away from the pandemic that they've lived through for the past 20 months.
Have COVID the musical?
No, please God, no, don't even suggest it. Dominique Samuels, do you want to come in?
We actually had a COVID musical that we were looking at called Breathe. Yes, it was called Breathe, and it was written about...
You know how much I love musicals, Bonnie, but I promise you the one musical I am not coming to is COVID the musical. I cannot do that. Dominique Samuels, do you want to come in?
I mean, I'm not really an avid musical watcher.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you?
I find them quite cringe. I think the only one that I like is Dreamgirls, the one that had Beyonce in the film. I think that was amazing. I just wanted to say, sorry to keep dragging it back to serious COVID stuff, just to pick on what you said before, do you think it's fair that, you know, actors have to be vaccinated, the audience has to be vaccinated and masked, crew has to be as well, in order for them to work? Do you think that's fair?
You know what? It's not up to me, and I'm one member of 100,000 that were working in March of 2020. So I was, whether I had a different opinion to that or not, I would have been sorely outvoted on that. And I think that, to be, if you want to be part of the community, then the community rules. And these were the rules that were put in place by these 13 different unions and the theater owners. So, yeah, I think, there'll be a time when we're not going to be masked and vaccinated. And, so we're not saying you can never work in the theater, but these are the rules that everyone feels safe in right now. And I think that, audience members need to know that the Broadway community, that the live theater community in New York is doing everything they can to live up to the highest possible standards of public safety. And right now we're finding that it's vaccinations and masks. And so I think that, it's unfortunate if that's not what your belief is or how you've been counseled. But I think that, so you'll just have to wait.
Well, Bonne Comley, I am so looking forward to getting back to Broadway. And look, we can come, finally. I mean, we're still waiting for Joe Biden to actually set the date. He needs to do that quick smart. But he has said that from next month, Brits will be able to enter the US. You'll have to be vaccinated. That's the rule that the US has introduced. But it's going to be great for Brits to be able to be back on Broadway. And thank you for all of your work getting it up and running again. That is Bonne Comley. Thank you so much. Live from New York. Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.